Hello folks, good evening. It's another midweek and I welcome you one and all. I am Citizen Jones. Today on the program, Army Chief Burate relocates to Northeast as military parades 7 suspected killer headsmen in Plateau State. Governor Umahi of Ebonyi vows never to dump the PDP for the APC, just as APC summons Otom and Senator Akume to Abuja. And later on, we'll share this with you. Discos, that's the distribution companies, disagree with the federal authorities on power generation capacity as BPE declares most of them technically insolvent. Let me announce I'm hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitogju. Jide, good evening to you. And Wale Adewi is here. Wale, I greet you. Welcome.
Good evening. Thank you.
So our team is ready. I hope you are. Now, the enervating Boko Haram conflict and the wearisome herdsmen bloodletting continue to challenge our collective national resolve to tame the lawlessness. Following the attacks on army formations in Bama, Borno State, and Jili in Yobe State, Army Chief General Tukur Buratai, along with some top commanders, have moved base to the northeast, reportedly on an assessment mission. Meanwhile, security agencies have arrested 7 more suspects in connection with the recent killings of over 200 people by suspected herdsmen in Barkin Ladi and the local government areas of Plateau State. Now, I believe it when they say that people with power understand one thing only: violence. So let's hear from the Acting Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General John Agim, on the arrest. Please watch on.
Two of the suspects that our intelligence gathering led us to have been arrested. And after this parade, we'll hand them over to the police for further investigation and prosecution. Of course, Mr. Ibrahim Joji, Mr. Amadu Ibrahim, they are those that were part of those who attacked Zorgon village on the 23rd of June. In continuation of our intelligence gathering and investigation of what happened last month, our troops are still getting those who were involved in the attacks on the 23rd of June. Those that were involved in the attack in the villages, our intelligence are working around the clock, and as soon as we get them, every one of them will be arrested and be treated according to the law.
We were returning back from the market when the authority arrested 15 of us, although the rest were later released. I didn't participate in the killing, but I know someone who did, and I told the security operatives.
Somebody who did.
Yeah, Jide, I didn't take part in it, but I know people who did it. These are really souls that, times that continue to test our souls and our collective resolve.
Yes, but I still think that the armed forces and the police have a lot to do to help us tame these killer headsmen. Killer headsmen are an embarrassment to the Buhari regime. They are doing, in fact, they are doing tremendous damage to the image of the government. That is why they have to do something about these guys. Because it's not in just one location that they are killing people. It's not like, okay, today it's just Biron people that we are fighting. You hear that they are killing people in Taraba, you hear that they are killing people in Adamawa, you hear that they are killing people in Benue. The laws of our land are there. There's nowhere in our rule books where it is written that if someone steals your cattle, you must take his life. And then doing that, what happened in Taraba was jungle justice. They eventually even killed a policeman. So how do you justify that? So it makes me happy when our security men do their work. And that's why I continue to praise the Commissioner of Police in Katsina. The Commissioner of Police in Katsina is a Fulani man, but he disarmed killer headsmen, those of them who had AK-47. He disarmed them. They told him, look, we are keeping these guns to protect ourselves against cattle rustlers. And he said, no, you are not permitted to carry this category of weapons.
Yeah.
Because
If at all.
you are not permitted. The president gave an express directive in Jalingo when he visited the Taraba State that any headsman carrying an AK-47 must be arrested. And the president also said a lot of the killer headsmen are not Nigerians. I discovered this fact because I just returned from Katsina and Zamfara. I discovered this fact. A lot of the people killing our people are not Nigerians. Nigerians are going to see the video that I brought back, and you will hear people in those communities that I visited saying that the people who are killing us are from Niger Republic. So if aliens are coming to waste lives in Nigeria, then we have to descend heavily on them. And don't also forget, they are killing innocent soldiers, they are killing policemen.
Yeah.
The army announced that he lost 18 of his men to killer headsmen during a shootout with killer headsmen. So we have to go after them wherever they are. Wherever they are hiding, either in Tunga Forest, in Nasarawa State, we must flush them out so that the killing of our people will end.
Yeah.
And for the people, I'm happy they've arrested 18 of those who are suspected to have been involved in the killings in Barkin Ladi.
Yeah.
I just want them to continue. I'm sure the people who carried out that carnage, killed up to 200 people, they must be more than 18. The armed forces should go after more of these people, arrest them, and bring them to justice. Let's send a message to people all over the world that Nigeria is a nation that has laws, and Nigeria is a nation that is ready to implement its laws.
Wale, you know, at a point like this, at a time like this, we are wondering if our neighbors are really friendly neighbors, namely Cameroon, Chad, Niger, Benin, you know, because if we can have cross-border skirmishes, which cost us so much in blood and life, it shouldn't be left like that. We talked about multilateral attempts and forces. Well, isn't it time?
Well, I think we cannot conclude that those nations are our enemies. Because these are...
No, I never said so. I said...
These are not actions that are backed by, states in those, in that region. Most of those states like Cameroon, Niger, Chad, they also have problems of...
border wahala.
Yeah. In fact, in northern Cameroon, Boko Haram has also carried out a lot of havoc in those areas. So I think there should be a kind of multinational approach, whereby regions in the Lake Chad area, we work out towards confronting this problem collectively. But I think arresting suspects is one step, because we have seen cases where suspects have been arrested. In fact, it's almost a recurring decimal. But the issue is that, what is the source of funds, for these people that operate using AK-47 that costs almost about 150,000 naira?
Yeah.
What is the source of their ammunition? And then, who are the funders? Who provide logistics? Who provide training? And also the local collaborators. Because there is no way people can come and operate in Barkin Ladi without certain local collaborators that are able to show them the way and all that. So I think it is high time that we need to rise beyond, this idea of just arresting people and come out with a solution that's really going to be very impressive, that is going to be permanent. So I'm tired of this issue where almost every week we come back to talk about people being paraded and then will be handed over to police and then nothing happens at the end of the day. We want to seek convictions. We want to see the funders who provide the funds. We want to see those who provide logistics, that are being tamed, and then the source of funds being curtailed by the authorities. So I think it's good news that people have been arrested, but then it's not enough. The government needs to do more to inspire.
And so when the Sultan the other day gave security folks, well, Miyetti Allah 2 months, you expected, look, now appears we are seeing results. These people are not necessarily Nigerians on the one hand and are not headsmen.
You see, Miyetti Allah knows the evil headsmen.
Okay.
There are bad eggs amongst headsmen. Miyetti Allah was instrumental to the institution of the amnesty program, to the success of the amnesty program in Katsina State. They were the ones who went into the forest to locate cattle rustlers, those who steal their cattle, and then offered to them an olive branch on behalf of government. One of them even pledged his son that if this thing does not succeed, look, I'm ready
to trade my son in.
Yes. And at the end, because to underline his honesty, he had to do that. And they identified these people, and at the end of the day, the government made peace with them. Today, cattle rustlers who used to kill as many as 140, 145 people in one day in Katsina State, they've stopped killing people. It's in Zamfara. Now that we hear that cattle rustlers continue to kill people. So Miyetti Allah knows the people who are not genuine headsmen. The Nigerian Armed Forces call them criminal Fulani.
Okay.
They parade themselves like, the normal Fulani that you and I are familiar with. But they engage the armed forces in a shootout.
So what about the man we saw in the footage a while back?
He said that they were coming from the market, and then he was arrested. He said he did not take part in the operation, but he knows
as who?
Yeah, he said he knows somebody who took part in the killings. Thank God we have him. Ultimately, they will determine in the course of investigation whether he was indeed part of the killers. Okay. And then since he knows one of the killers, you see, he said he was coming from the market. That means he's probably a cattle breeder who went to sell his cattle in the market or something. So there's no way that you'll be involved in that kind of business and you won't know the bad eggs amongst you. You won't know the people who steal cattle. You will know. You will know the bad eggs. So since the Sultan gave that directive, we've not had anything. It is our responsibility to remind the Sultan that the ultimatum that he gave Miyetti Allah to fish out the criminal element, the lawless headsmen, that ultimatum has expired. Miyetti Allah should come forward and trade in or let us know those criminal folks so that they can be dealt with. Not only that, the Emir of Ankara, Nigerians should remember, and those who cannot remember can Google it. The Emir of Ankara challenged Fulani leaders that, look, these killings and the bad name that we are being given is enough. Let us do our best to stop these killings. It's there. You can Google it. So he said it. Look, there's no doubt that Miyetti Allah is key to us resolving some of these mass murders. So they have to engage them. Government at different levels must engage them.
But if it continues, does it not beg the question of, so could anybody somewhere be gaining by these killings? It's natural to ask.
No. Some people will gain because it will give the government a bad name. I refuse to agree that these killings are sponsored by politicians. It's a lie from the deepest pit of hell. They are not sponsored by politicians. A lot of them are spontaneous. You had Miyetti Allah has raised a fresh alarm now that some of their cattle got stolen again in Plateau State. So we shouldn't be surprised if a few days from now there's another round of killings. But that is the responsibility of the security forces to ensure that there is no bloodletting as a result of this.
Yeah.
And then they have an obligation to protect the means of livelihood of Mieti Allah and other people, because when you willfully begin to steal and destroy someone's means of livelihood, you are trying to sentence him to death.
Obviously.
And he has a reason to fight back.
Obviously. It's only natural. Wale, you know, I look at the map in my mind's eyes, and I look at the northernmost part of the country, and I look at Plateau State.
Yeah.
It's quite a distance. Going the whole hog unchallenged raises more questions than answers.
Yeah, that tells you that there are local collaborators. And these attacks take a long time to plan. It's coordinated. Probably they even come to these territories for several weeks to survey, you know, to do a kind of mapping, what the military call Reiki. And they map out the areas they want to attack, mostly the vulnerable areas where women and children live. They take time, you know, to plan, they communicate with each other. And then when they want to attack, they choose the darkest part of the night to start. And once they start, they already know the locations of all the security formations. And it becomes very easy for them to escape. So it means there's a kind of ring, a kind of cartel that is, you know, not only stationed in Plateau State, but stationed in hotspots. And they coordinate with each other through communications and even modern equipment. So we have, you know, a sophisticated organization, a rebel movement, you know, that is becoming more sophisticated every day.
Yeah.
Because if there's an attack this week and then the next 2 weeks they attack again, it means they are becoming more emboldened, you know. So it's a very big challenge for the government. And in a country where there is no data, you know, we don't profile our criminals. If somebody killed in Lagos today, we don't have the fingerprints. Yeah. In other countries, if there is, you know, there's a kind of crime scene, you go there, you take a kind of, you know, you take the fingerprints and you put it in computer, then you'll be able to locate the particular individuals that carry out that attack. But in this case, there's no database, there's no data bank. So people are just on the field day. They kill and there are no sanctions. And they will never be caught if you are not careful.
Okay, Elijah is here. He's calling us from Sokoto State. Elijah, welcome. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I greet you, sir.
I greet you. I just want to make a contribution.
Go on.
Okay. My contribution is about what the Emir of Ankara said. Yes, about what the Emir of Ankara said. That the name these killer headsmen are giving to the Fulani, it's very bad. I think the leaders, they know the people carrying out this act. It's just like you sit in your house, you give people cattle to go to the bush. And now they feel, okay, we are being sponsored by the strong and mighty in the country. That if we carry out any attack, they will still protect our interests. That is why you are seeing that up to now, no arrests have been made. The only one we saw today was just 7 people that were arrested. So I think the leaders, the Fulani leaders, know how to go about this.
Okay.
Let's call a spade a spade.
All right. Otherwise, it becomes willful, Jide. It becomes a willful act.
It is not correct to say no arrest has been made.
No.
Even when he said only
I hope Elijah watches the news. Yeah, but go on.
The Nigerian army announced the arrest of 153 killer headsmen. That's the way they described them.
Over time.
Yes. It was between Benue, Nasarawa, and Taraba.
Yeah.
About 142 of them were arrested in Benue. You know, Benue is the epicenter of the killings. Those 2 local governments, Guma and Logo, that are close to Nasarawa State. Because they usually come in, these killers come in through Nasarawa, through Away local government in Nasarawa. So they announced that they arrested 153 killer headsmen, and that 142 of them came from Benue. So it's not correct to say arrests are not being made. And the defense headquarters also went on to tell us that they've handed them over to the police. So we have an obligation to remind the police of its responsibility of putting these guys before a judge so that they can be tried. And when they are tried, the Nigerian press should give it sufficient publicity so that you know that when you join others to commit mass murder as we are seeing, this is what will happen to you. People, there must be repercussion for the ceaseless bloodletting in our country. It has to happen. It pushed us to shame as a people. There's no country in Africa where I know that people get killed cheaply like this. Not even in Congo.
That's seemingly more trouble than us. So, Jide, let's go to the other leg of the story. The Chief of Army Staff and his top commanders have moved base to the northeast. Tells you, we are homing in.
Yeah, it tells me that there are concerns. We've been happy for some time because of the progress that we have made in the war against terror. But suddenly, in the last 1 week, Boko Haram has shown us that they are far from being dead. And those two attacks have led to the deaths of our soldiers. It's difficult for the army to admit that people died. We are used to that. You remember an army spokesman called in on our program to say, no, nobody was killed in Magumeri area. We rescued everybody. We seized the weapons of the attackers. By the next day, University of Maiduguri lecturers were calling me that their colleagues who were on the patrol, who were going to for the oil prospecting, were killed. And I sent my reporter to the university, and he met a funeral procession. At least 18 soldiers were killed in that attack, but we were told, someone called in on our program to say nobody was killed. Of course, he later apologized because he misled us and misled our nation. But the truth is, those two attacks, we lost soldiers. Those two attacks, we lost gun trucks. We lost equipment because the attacks came suddenly.
An ambush?
Yes, an ambush. They attacked an army base. Usually Boko Haram attacks an army base that it thinks is vulnerable. They do that so that they can steal weapons. You know, the Air Force continues to bomb their weapons. But occasionally, they will go and attack a remote army base. They did that in Sasawa in Yobe State. They killed the commander of the troops there and took away weapons. So this is exactly, they did that in Minok in Borno State and took away weapons. That is exactly what they did in Jili village, not far from the Lake Chad area. That's why we know that that dangerous group, the Mama Nur faction of Boko Haram, which is affiliated to Islamic State, is responsible for some of those attacks. Now the army chief, seeing the seriousness of what happened, has moved to the area to coordinate strategies with his officers, so that this kind of attack on our troops, because it's demoralizing. If you go to the cantonment in Ikeja, if you go to army bases here, people are truly worried because of those last two attacks. They don't know whether some of their colleagues, their friends are involved. You know? So this is a fact. This is a fact, and we can only continue to pray for our troops.
All right, then. We have a call now from Yusuf. Yusuf, you are here. Good evening. I greet you.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, you are on now.
Okay. Please, from Kwara State.
Okay.
All right.
Yes. My first contribution is that for all of us to know what's going on, the Mieti Allah, I think we have to know that there are two factions of Mieti Allah. From what we know, there's Nial Magban, that's Menlo Salah Cattle Breeder Association and Kausa Hore Association of Nigeria.
Okay.
So I think we have to make it very clear. If we are talking about Mieti Allah, so we should name the ones that, because at times some people usually confuse it, and there are other associations of cattle breeders in Nigeria also, apart from the two factions of Mieti Allah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. But the Sultan didn't talk about any faction. In any group,
They are not factions. They are two different
he
groups.
knows he knows the mainstream faction. In any group, there is a mainstream faction. So we are referring to the mainstream group.
Well, so in taking this home, we cannot but wish the Chief of Army Staff and his top commanders Godspeed as they take on the next phase.
Yeah, I think for one thing, for the chief of staff to relocate from his base means there is a major problem, even though we are being made to believe that, few soldiers have been killed. And we should also realize that tackling this problem is not just a military solution. We need a multidimensional approach. It has to be economic, it has to be political, it has to be military. Because it appears as if the conditions that nurture terrorism, corruption, poverty, exclusion, remains, in almost every part of our country. And I'm really worried about those soldiers that are dying every day. Because the height of patriotism any soldier can demonstrate is to die for his country. And they should not just be treated as figures. In other countries where soldiers go to war, they are welcomed in a very heroic fashion. You see children giving them flowers, and that inspires a lot of people that want to fight and defend their country. But when they are just buried in shallow graves and nobody remembers them, it's quite demoralizing.
Even their deaths are not announced.
Their names are not even known to Nigerians.
If the American president in 2018 is still talking about the MIAs
Vietnam War,
in Vietnam and
fought
Korean
in
War,
First and Second World War, then we have to
it.
treat these guys as the true heroes of the country.
Okay then, these are crazy times. But let's tell you, still to come, Governor Umahi of Ebonyi vows never to dump the PDP for the APC, as APC summons Governor Otom and Senator Akume to Abuja. Please stay with us. Hello, welcome back. In politics, jumping or abandoning ship is second nature, but then the grounds for defecting is more on principle or ideology. But in Africa, our Africa, and I dare say it, in our jurisdiction here, you dump a party because the band is not playing your type of music, or you feel left out in the cold. Governor Dave Umahi of Ebonyi State is in the jumble of a defection saga. The rumor mill pushed out the word on the street that the Ebonyi #1 man was going for the plunge. But of course, our man naturally denied any such speculation. Meanwhile, at the other end of the divide, both Governor Samuel Otom and Senator George Akume are two gladiators in the quest for the control of the party in Benue State. Judy, again, we are not surprised about these things. This, they say, is the way of politicians.
Yes. It is. It has to be. Governor Umahi has tremendous respect for President Buhari. He has demonstrated his respect for the president so many times that sometimes you wonder whether he's a member of the APC. But it shouldn't be a matter that surprises people. If someone in a rival party sees the president as a leader, as a father, and he shows respect to him. Not everybody
says he's my boss.
Yes,
he's
that's
#1, and so on.
He's the commander-in-chief.
Yeah,
So it's not everyone who will take on the president the way Fauci does, because whether we like it or not, in our kind of politics, the president will be a bad person if he sees an Umahi or even an Ebiano, who show respect to him, who treat him like a father, and he tells his people to go and put them to shame. He's not going to do that. One good turn begets another. Someone boasted that, look, even if the president comes, he cannot defeat him. But this is a president who has tremendous powers. Even if he's a gentleman and he does not want to unleash the powers that position has given him, he has lieutenants. The disrespect that I have shown to you is too much. So for Ebiano and Umahi, and even the governor of Cross River, they treat the president with respect, though they are in different parties. And they are in a different party. And Umahi is saying, look, till Christ comes, there will not be crisis in the APC, the PDP, and I will have no reason to join the APC. So The speculation, according to him, is baseless. That he has a good relationship with the president does not mean they have to be in the same party.
So it's only natural that people would assume the man is trying to jump ship.
No, because it's the nature of our politics here. And the American president had hunted, that's Obama, he had hunted some of the best people in the Republican Party to join his cabinet. They joined his cabinet and they didn't leave their party. They just joined his cabinet to serve their country.
Yeah.
That's the way our politics should mature up to that point, that if you see someone all the time with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you don't begin to think that that person is a mole.
Okay.
You don't begin to think that person is planning to join Tinubu's party.
Or he's planted by somebody somewhere.
Yes, that's why I said a mole. So that is the way it is. It is mutual respect between the president and these two fellows. Remember the last election in Anambra State. A few days to that election, the Ebiano went to visit the president. And when he was coming out and he was interviewed, he said, I have respect for this man. He probably had respected him long before even their paths crossed. It's just natural. So when the IG now withdrew the security men of the Anambra governor, the president was very angry. He was very, very angry with the IG. And the IG had to be told to quickly, because it's embarrassing. Someone who respects the president so much, now you want to embarrass him because an election was coming. No. So I think that what Ebiano has, what Umahi has done is the right thing. Let's not play bitter politics. Thereby we just disrespect elders because we happen to not be in the same party. It is wrong.
Well, and Umahi is telling even the deaf, look, I have been state chairman of the PDP. I have been deputy governor. Now I'm governor. Why would I want to jump ship? The party has been good to me.
I think
so it's the color of our politics, as I said.
Looking at the boy politics, I think Umahi is one of the most entrenched politicians, in Ebonyi State, and I think he has one of
very
the
unassuming.
most interesting network because he was deputy governor. You remember that when he was contesting for the governor Elechi was against him.
Yes. Oh yeah.
The governor preferred the Minister of State for health, Onyebuchi Chukwu. In spite of that, he defeated the anointed candidate.
And with the support of the number 3 man.
Yeah. So I see him, and he was former acting vice chairman, and then later became the chairman. So I'll be looking at it that why will he need to leave the PDP? There is no formidable opposition to him in that state. So, but I think what has happened is a very good example of inter-party relationship. If the the governor of a state that is in opposition has a kind of good relationship with the president of the country that is in another party, it's not a bad idea at all. But I also think that there may be other issues. For instance, people are talking about the potential of the Southeast producing a vice president or president in the near future. So it is not unlikely that gladiators will be scheming to see how this fits into that game. But I think this present instance probably was instigated by some people who wanted to create division, between Umahi and his party. I don't think
or as they say, schism. Which is in our nature.
Yeah, I think it's part of the propaganda to just create confusion.
Jide, the other leg is, look at the other end of the line. Benue State has come into the fore here. Yeah. Sitting Governor Autumn and last but one governor, Senator Akume, are fighting for the soul of the party. And so summoning them to Abuja tells you all is not well at the home front.
All is not well. The soul of the party is in the state is in the hands of George Akume. He's the leader of the party. He was the one who facilitated the emergence of Samuel Autumn, who came from the PDP. And right now, the structures of the party are firmly in the hands of George Akume. So Akume was said to have, at an event, said that he had given the governor a red card. So the governor's people went and told him that was what he said. And that was why the governor said, well, since my party has given me a red card, because he thinks that in a delegate election, with the structures firmly in Akume's hands, there is no way he can win. So he said, since my party has given me a red card, his party, in this case Akume, then like it is in the game of football. He has to.
Maybe a yellow.
He has to move on. No, not is the man used the
red.
word red. That means there's no remedy. So the man said, okay, that means I have to step aside.
Let me give way.
But now the party is calling them. I've heard people say, oh, or Tom didn't attend. It's just similar to what happened. Yes, they will. The two of them, they may not bring the two of them together at the same table because it may lead to exchange of words and all that. So I'm sure that he will have his own day since Akume has met the party leaders. So
Yeah, Wale, but this politics of you made me and you are trying also to bring me down. Yeah, but quickly, Uzo, I hear Uzo is here. Uzo, welcome. You are here in Lagos. I greet you.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, please, it's not that I'm trying to recall the ones you have passed. It's about the herdsmen.
But that's what you are doing. That's what you are doing.
I've been trying to get you within that time. I couldn't be able to.
You know, I hope I don't do this again. Yeah, but take 30 seconds. Let's go.
Sir?
Take 30 seconds.
Quickly,
let's
do it
go.
quickly.
Okay, sir. Sir, please, about this herdsmen issue. I found out that the herdsmen something started immediately Mr. President take over.
That's not true.
So I don't know.
You see, Uzo,
why-
this is the kind of thing I won't want. You know, so what is your source? I must believe what you are saying. Is that what you are saying? The headsmen started killing.
No.
Because
that's not true.
I want to believe you've lived in this country long enough to recall that this thing has been a long time coming.
2012.
A long time coming.
Yes.
Please.
2012.
Uzo, I'm sorry. Let's leave it there. So, come on. You made me so you must bring me down. Otom and Akume, father, son. In politics, a father and a son can sit at a table.
Yeah,
they can. It is possible.
I think the conflict should not go beyond redemption. I like what is going on because, as they say, a stitch in time saves 9. I like what the leadership of the party has done before it is too late, inviting both of them to a meeting in Abuja. Anotom could not attend the meeting on the Tuesday. He has picked another date, which is Wednesday. I think today they're supposed to have that meeting again. But compared with the leadership that was, leading APC before now, they led so many states to the crisis to degenerate into a situation that became so difficult to redeem. So I think I like the quick intervention, the quick response from the party leadership. And I believe what is going on in Benue State is an ill wind that blows nobody any good. You have a sitting governor, even though to control the structure of that party. If, Otom leaves, there's no way it's not going to have an impact on the party. And if Akume also says, look, you are not going to have a second term, there's no way it's not going to affect the fortune of the party. Yes. So it is in the interest of both parties and the interest of the party to look for a way, an amicable solution to this crisis. So, and I think what the leadership has done is in the right direction. They should find a way because the elections are very close. So I think I really like what the leadership of the party has done. And I believe it's the right step in the right direction.
And so you cannot... Jide, mine is a peace that is achieved at a table is different from the peace you have in your heart. It must come from here.
Yes.
If you see what I'm talking about here.
So this peace now, the way I see it, should be achieved both at the table and in the hearts of the people concerned.
Okay, yeah.
I like the pragmatism that Shomole is bringing into his job as national chairman. And if he continues like this, he will continue to get my support. It can be sometimes unnecessarily exuberant, but I think that the problems that he has on his hands, the problems that he inherited, means he has to work hard every day. He has to work 25 hours a day to keep this party together and make the party stronger. I believe that politics is an inclusive sport. You can't keep driving people away.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, and you can see that he's trying to repair some of the damage in Imo and in a few places. You can't, because look at both of them now, political father and son. You can't say because you are the political godfather of someone, now just treat that person as a sweet wrap on the floor. No, you must treat people with respect. And the office of a governor has to be respected. So if we are saying that, for me, I keep saying that governors behave like tin gods, we cannot replace a tin god with another tin god. The party has to be supreme. So if you say you are the godfather in a state, the leadership of the party, led by Oshiomhole, has to demonstrate that it is superior to anybody, whether you are in Kaduna chasing away other party members, or you are in Kwara, or you are anywhere. The party supremacy. Under Oshiomhole, party supremacy has to be underlined. It has to be. That is the only way to keep the party together. All the people who plan to, a lot of the people plan to leave, I can see that some of them are making moves because Oshiomhole has spoken with some of them. Forget what you are reading. I see people on Facebook and other places saying, no, they can go, demonstrating their ignorance. The people that you are saying they can go, Oshiomhole is talking to some of them. I was speaking with one of the national leaders of the party, and he said, look, we are talking to some of these people because you need them to win the election. You can't be complacent. You can't say because you are in power, you can't be defeated. Even if you can't be, you are not defeated at the national level, the division in your party can cause you to lose some states.
Well, you know, as we begin to take it home now, Oshiomhole is bringing a new impetus to the APC at the national level, telling you what we used to see before. We have discussed this here. The chairman of the party is the Oga. At the state level, you know, in all of this picture in Benue State, the party chairman in Benue is like a small boy. Nothing is ahead of him.
Face of the two giants. Well, I think there should be different levels of, you know, conflict resolution. And I believe Oshiomhole is bringing his experience from the labor union into practice.
Conflict
resolution, negotiation. So you could see that the party deputy chairman in North, in Middle Belt, and then in the North, they are the ones that are supposed to meet first with the two parties. After that, the party chairman will now come in. If these people cannot resolve the conflict. So I think that's the way things should go. Because in a situation where, you know, you have a conflict in the party and then you cannot resolve it, how then do you want to govern the country? You know, so I think internal mechanisms should be explored to the brim when there is a crisis in any particular party. So I think one should commend the current leadership of APC for this step that has been taken.
Okay, quickly, we take Monday is in Edo State. We welcome him. Welcome, Monday. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you, Citizen Hussein.
I greet you, sir.
And special regards to Ambassador Jide.
Ambassador.
In fact, let me make my little contribution about the issue between Akume and Otom. You see, Nigeria should learn how to play politics in a decent manner. I want to believe, as the governor of the state and the party leader of the state, their duties are different. First and foremost, the issue in Benue State, the killings in Benue State, is under the watch nose of Otom. Akume is just a leader of the party. And everybody is wishing the president to come back for a second term, working to be, you know, recognized. And Akume, Otom is the person the people of Benue are looking on to safeguard them, to protect their interests. And the killing and everything, the person they look onto is Otom. So the issue of like the remand or the signing of this anti-grazing law that the third brought issue between the two of them, that don't sign or sign. You see, the people who always look whole response, Otom, instead of Akume. So there's no way, because you want the president to recognize you as the party leader of the state, and the government should be left behind. I think it's not the best.
Thank you very kindly. And in bearing this finally, let's tell the powerful men in this country that there's life after office. There is life after office. Now then, the politics of electric power sufficiency in our country is as electrocuting as understanding what the devil is in the detail. The power supply chain comprises generating companies, GENCOs, the transmission company of Nigeria, TCN, and the ubiquitous power distribution companies, aka DISCOs. Of all these three, the DISCOs are the most sought after. Quite apart from distributing transmitted power, all 11 of them are responsible for supply of meters and the billing regime. The Federal Bureau of Public Enterprises, BPE, last Tuesday declared that most of the DISCOs were technically insolvent, but they, the DISCOs, insist they are deliberately being made the fall guys in the equation, Jide.
You see, they went to elephants fights. It is the grass that suffers. The Minister of Power became frustrated at some point. This minister had defended these people so many times, you know, to the chagrin of some of us. But he got frustrated about the clear lack of capacity and inefficiency of DISCOs. And he told them to upgrade their efficiency or be prepared to be shown the door. So that was what got them angry. And they are saying, look, even if you withdraw our licenses, it will still not stop the power sector from
being what it is,
or collapsing at the end of the day. So they are talking about all kinds of problems. And Odunton, who is their representative, is saying that the claim by the federal government that electricity generation peaked at 4,000 in January 2015 is a lie. So they are saying that as of January 2015, we had a generating capacity of 6,421, which is close to the threshold of 7,000 achieved by this administration. And they are also saying that, look, it is not true that there is a shorting of 2,000 megawatts. And they are saying that, look, currently in Nigeria, the best that we can generate is 5,000 megawatts. Why? Because of gas insufficiency. They are saying out of 28 power plants, at least 26 or so are actually thermal stations, which means they need gas to fuel them. And once we don't have sufficient gas supply, then you should expect that they will be limited. So they are pushing the limitation to other problems, blaming their own limitation on other problems. And they are saying even the grid too has its own problem. Of course, electricity generation is like a relay. Everyone must play his part. All three.
You generate, generate, you transmit, and then distribute.
So they are saying that there are problems in all those chains.
To
so
them,
they don't want to be singularly blamed.
To them, to the DISCOs, Wale, this TCN is the offending guy here, the transmission company.
Yes. But you see, I think the minister raised some fundamental issues. And for him to have taken this case to the court of public opinion means probably he had exhausted administrative patience. You see, he raised the issue of the capacity of the distributor companies. He raised the issue of estimated billing. This is a major, problem that confronts almost every Nigerian, every consumer. And he also spoke about private monopoly, that they should stop threatening new investors that want to come into the business. There are some areas where you have very huge consumers located in one spot. He mentioned Sura Market in Lagos, Zabongeri in Kano, and then Ariara Market in Abia. So if there are small investors that want to go into these areas, they should be allowed. It's almost 5 years now that they have been registered. So if they can't meet up in terms of capacity building, there is no reason why new investors cannot come in. Because no matter the blame game, the fact of the matter is that Nigeria is not meeting up the electricity requirement. And you cannot have industrial development, you cannot have growth. It has to be driven by electricity. Look at Ghana.
Arrested development.
Ghana is just 18 million and produces 4,000 plus megawatts. South Africa, with about 40, 45 million people, produces about 45,000 megawatts.
Oh, yeah.
And 89% of this comes from coal. So we need to deregulate further, because there are private companies. There is a limit to which you can, though the government needs to provide the conducive environment, but then you also need to be more creative in order to be able to address these technical problems. Instead of just trying to blame the government all the time. You live in a flat of 3-bedroom, and at the end of the month, you have a bill of 35,000. And maybe your salary...
estimated.
Your salary is just 80,000 naira.
Yeah.
I mean, it's embarrassing. So you see a lot of people demonstrating against them, go to the social media.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, people are angry. And I don't think this is the right way, just trying to blame, shift blame and all that. They need to sit down and address this problem.
All right, once and for all time.
Yeah.
Jide, you know, I interviewed at this studio, somewhere else, at this studio, Odoton. Yes. And we talked about so many things. I introduced the, what you call the conspiracy theory of diesel merchants and generator barons. He said, yes, it's also a part of the problem. So that's what I mean by the problem of electricity supply here is so electrocuting.
It's a big problem.
It's a very big problem.
You know how many we've had? I was going to say 25 out of 28 plants are actually gas-fired. So which means that once we have gas insufficiency, we are in trouble. You see, that's when we experience this system collapse and all that. And we've had too many system collapses in the last 1 year, you know, for a sector that we want to see efficiency happen. So in my view, it is the government that has to lead the way. If we want to deregulate the sector, that is not a job for the distribution companies.
Oh, yeah,
it is the government that will take the plunge and say, this is what we want to do. Because in my view, that is the way to go. In Mozambique, they export electricity to South Africa. And the bulk of the electricity in Mozambique is from hydro plants. So how many, just like Brazil, more than 100,000 megawatts come from hydro plants. So why is it that we have not been able to explore other sources of electricity generation? They will just rely so much on thermal plants.
Good old ECN, coal was at Enugu,
which is what the South Africans rely on.
Yeah.
So we can actually explore coal, explore solar, although many people say solar is expensive, explore hydro.
And wind. There's also wind energy.
Yes. Look at the Mambila power project that has been there for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
That project, when completed, should be able to give us even
5,000
even without just as they told me when I went to the Taraba, even in dry season, it will give us a minimum of 3,500 megawatts.
Which can power
dry season, no?
Which can power the north.
Yes. Then at the peak of the rainy season, it will give us close to 5,000 megawatts. Of course, the hydro plants in Kainji at installed capacity of 700 megawatts is nothing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The plant is old. Shiroro is old. When you go to Niger State today, they call it the power state, but it is one of the states that suffer the most from electricity, from power, what's it called? Insufficient power supply. So we have to solve this problem. We have to adopt a holistic approach.
Well, Wale, you know, another angle, quickly, the transmission, the cross-country cable lines that you see can't carry more than 5,000 megawatts. So that's why when former President Obasanjo indulged in the
building of power plants.
We thought it was the answer, but here we are. So it must be paying some people for us to enjoy darkness.
Yeah, I think the solution is deregulation. Lagos is about 18 million people. Lagos should be able to generate electricity for the entire South.
Akwa Ibom should be able to generate its own electricity.
We have to dismantle this concept of private monopoly. Look at communication. If you are not happy with Airtel, you go to MTN.
Oh, yes. There's even government monopoly, whereby you generate electricity, and the law says that you should now feed what you generated into the national grid.
My state,
shouldn't we find a way?
101 megawatts we generate from the Ibom power plant, but you feed it into the national grid.
Yeah. So anything you generated above 40 megawatts, you must feed into the national grid.
All right, that will just about do it. But Wale Adeoye, many thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And Babajide, you should be here tomorrow, barring all hitches. and so that's it. Thank you for your time. But do join us. If you missed this, the repeat broadcast is built for 11 tonight, and you may also watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on your screen now, and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. The feedback channel is the same, and Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now. God bless you.